Hey guys, Echo Plays here, back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about a console war. That is the Xbox versus PlayStation. So I'm going to be talking about it, and if you don't know what I'm talking about today, it's because the PlayStation 5 just came out today in America. I think it's America, Canada, and Mexico. Obviously Japan, because that's where it's made. South Korea, Australia and New Zealand, I think that's all the places. And then like the UK, Ireland where I live, and like everywhere else in the 19th of November, which is basically a week from next Thursday. And yeah, I'm going to be talking about it. So first of all, I'm going to be talking about the first ever console, so the Xbox original and the PS1. So the PS1 was released in 1994, and the Xbox was released in 2001. And when the Xbox original was released, there was already two PlayStations, and PS1 was released in 1994, and then the PS2 in 2000, and then Xbox in 2001. So there's already two PlayStations, and PS2 is the most sold console in the whole world. Sold 157 million, and then if you have the Xbox original, that only sold 24 million, which is barely any compared. And then they're the first consoles, and like if you compare them, the Xbox didn't really have any good games except Halo. Like they're the Halo and Forza are the only games that like I can really think of that like you'd know. So if you heard Xbox, you'd know those two games, and that's basically it. But for PlayStation, you would know Crash Bandicoot. What else? Like Ratchet and Clank. Stuff like that. There's also more, but they're the only ones I know that were like on PS1. Because I had a PS3 and a PS4, and I'm gonna get a PS5. So they're the only consoles I had. And I also had a Nintendo Switch, and I had a Nintendo Wii before Nintendo Switch. And so like PS1, the PlayStation in general was like more games were known on it, and I had better exclusives than Xbox. And then Xbox 360 was released like a few years later, I think like a year before PlayStation 3, and lots of people had it. And then similar, lots of people also had the PlayStation 3, and then when PlayStation 4 came out, everyone just got it because it won, and I think PS5 won again. And the new Spider-Man game looks amazing. Right now you're seeing gameplay of of Avengers Beta that you could play for 3 days for free before you have to buy it, which I did play, and it was way too long to edit, so I just made into this. So next we're going to be talking about the different games that are going to be coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X. So there's really not that many games coming to Xbox people know. There's only one coming on launch that I know, and then the other one is like lots of people want for Xbox, but it's not coming at launch, or at least a part of it. Not all of it's coming at launch, only a part of it. So for Xbox Series X, it's Forza Motorsports, that's coming at launch I think, and then Halo Infinite was meant to, but now it's not. I think only a part of it is, and they're the only games that, like, if you hear Xbox exclusives for Xbox Series X, it's the only ones you hear. For PS5, you hear three different games, and there's also a game which is in both of them, which is Planet Coaster. That's for both of them. But PS5, it's Spider-Man Miles Morales, Sackboy Big Adventure, and Destruction All Stars. They're basically the most wanted ones, and also Demon's Souls. They're like the four most wanted. Ones I want are Spider-Man and what else? Spider-Man and Planet Coaster. They're basically the two I want. Probably again Planet Coaster, because right now I have I have 400 and something euro. Well, I actually have 300 something, but I'm selling my PlayStation once I know I have the PS5 like ordered it. so then I'll have even more money. I'll have nearly 500. And I'm gonna buy like a game for 30, which is, no, not 30, 45, which is Planet Coaster, which is how much it costs. I want to get Miles Morales, but that's 50, so I won't have enough. Because I'm gonna buy either Planet Coaster or the like Pulse 3D wireless headset, or both if I can. If I get 100. Like for my PlayStation, I might even get more, you never know. But next we're gonna talk about PS4 exclusives. So for PS4, the exclusives that you hear and you know about are Infamous Second Son, The Last of Us, Tearaway, Ratchet and Clank, Uncharted, and Crash Bandicoot. They're the ones that you hear about the most. And for Xbox, there's only 3 that like really, like, when I searched it up and I was like, okay, what are they? They're the 3 that I heard of before. But for PlayStation, even people who have Xbox, they know a lot of like PlayStation ones like Uncharted, Crash Bandicoot, Ratchet and Clank, stuff like that. For Xbox, it's Forza, Halo, and Gears 5 specifically for the Xbox One. But they're the only games that you'd actually like know of when you hear of Xbox One exclusives. So next is the Xbox Series X specs versus the PS5 specs, and the Xbox Series X specs are actually better, but only by a tiny bit. But PlayStation can use the power that it's not using on the game or anything to boost to boost its CPU, because on the Xbox Series X the CPU is 3.8 AMD, while on the PlayStation 5 its CPU 3.5 8-core AMD, so it can up it to a 3.9, which is actually more than the Xbox Series X. But if it's like a power intensive game such as Spider-Man Miles Morales, then it'll probably stay at 3.5, so it'll be worse than the Xbox Series X, because on Miles Morales there's like 2 settings. You can have 30 FPS with like the ray tracing and stuff, or you can have 60 FPS with no ray tracing and like all the like shadows and like shiny like windows and stuff, reflections. So the Xbox Series X has 16 gigabytes of memory, 1 terabyte of storage, which is more than the PS5, but you'll seasoning. 120 FPS, 4K resolution. It can also have 8K resolution, but it doesn't like say 8K resolution on the like packaging or anything. CPU is 3.8 AMD, the GPU is 12 teraflops, and that's basically everything. Then for the PS5 specs, a CPU 3.5 8-core AMD, as I said, it can go up, and so can the GPU, because the GPU for Xbox Series X is 12 teraflops, and for PlayStation it's 10.3 teraflops, but that can go up if it's not using a power intensive game. Like Planet Coaster, that's not going to use that much power, so it could probably have better resolution, like 60 FPS and stuff, 4K. And then it also has custom SSD, 825 gigabytes custom SSD, and has 8K resolution, 4K and 8K, and it says on the box, it says 4K, 8K, 120, and yeah, it has 120 FPS, and that's the highest they can go. They can't go any higher than the FPS, but they can go to 8K. Most games, or like say Miles Morales, that will support 4K, and then there'll be some games, like, I don't know what games, but like maybe Horizon, the new Horizon, or maybe new God of War 2 when that comes out, might support 8K. I know that Spider-Man can support 4K, but I'm not sure about 8K. But yeah, that's it for the specs. The specs are really good. And for the storage, Xbox Series X has 1 terabyte storage, while PS5 only has 825 gigabytes. But the thing is that once you use like some of the storage for like powering the system, the Xbox Series X probably is the same as the PS5 storage, which is 825 gigabytes, and the PS5 is a custom SSD, so that means that you can open it up put a better uh, like uh, basically more storage into your PlayStation, then put it back together. So you could have, if you wanted, 1 terabyte and 125 gigabytes all together. If you wanted, you can also do that for the Xbox, but in the Xbox you don't open it up. It's not a custom SSD. You just have to put in an external one at the back and plug it in, and then you could have 2 terabytes, which is basically around the same as what the PS5 would have. And yeah, that's it. So next we have the controllers. For the Xbox controller, it is a failure. No one likes it. The only good thing that might be good about it is that the thumbstick placements are one is in the top right and one is just like a PS4, and that might be the only good thing. But the PS5 controller has adaptive triggers, improved haptic feedback, so when it rumbles, it's not just like, is it rumbling or not rumbling, it's like, can you feel the rumble? So if you're on a train in a game, you'll feel the rumble and you'll feel like you're on a train, or you're in a car, or you're on a plane, or you're running, something like that. And for the adaptive triggers, say you're holding a heavy sword and you swing it over your head onto the ground, you will feel that with the adaptive triggers, because they'll get harder to press as you pull it up, because the sword is heavy. So that's a really cool thing. It also has built-in microphone, which the Xbox controller doesn't have. It has USB Type-C, which both of them have, and it has a create button. The Xbox actually has a button called the record button. I don't know why they call it that, but that's what it is. And it also has a touchpad, which the Xbox doesn't have. The Xbox is a really bad controller. The only good thing about it is the thumbstick placements for some people, and now that has a record button, but it still uses batteries. You can also charge it, but you still need to have the batteries in it to be able to charge it. And has USB Type-C, which is one good thing about it. But it has no mic, and I think they should have got rid of the batteries. No touchpad, and they just made it more black. Basically, they got rid of any of the shine off the controller, so now it's just like there's a matte controller, which some people like because it's simplistic. And for the console design, PS5 is futuristic. Kind of looks like a Wi-Fi router, but it still looks better than an Xbox fridge, which starts smoking all of a sudden out of the top. And that's basically it. In the comments, I want you guys to say which one you like more, and if people say it doesn't matter which console you like, then it's not that they're wrong, but I think that everyone has their own preference to a console. They can't just say, I like both consoles, unless you have both consoles. If you have a PS5 and you don't have an Xbox Series X, then you like a PS5 more. So say in the comments which one you like, and if someone says, hey, you're not to like PlayStation 5, Xbox is way better, then don't say, no it's not, and then get a war. Just say, yeah, Xbox is good, but I prefer PS5, or I prefer Xbox X, because I prefer PS5, and the exclusives, the controller, the accessories, basically everything about it is just amazing. And I had PlayStation since PlayStation 3, I had PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and I'm getting PlayStation 5. So, yeah, hopefully that was really interesting, and you saw how PlayStation is better. But if you still think Xbox is better, then that's fine. But yeah, I will see you in the next video, and comment down below what you like, what console you like. You can even say Nintendo. You can probably say a Wii, because I will still appreciate you. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.